Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another delightful, delectable, sexual, highly explicit hotfix, which is our video game discussion topic industry.
It's laser focused. I haven't done that for a while.
It's focused.
Pew pew pew. I'll get my coat.
The pew.
It is laser focused.
It's quality. We skipped a week, as you probably mentioned, but that was just you know what things are like. In my household at the moment, there was stuff going down, and there isn't. Well, I say there isn't anymore. There is because the baby's home. So also,
have you got it like underneath? You're gonna like lift it up now? Or
I'm not. She's asleep. I don't want to go anywhere near when she's asleep. So if there is a sound of like a wee child in the background, well, it's because she's woken up, and I hope she stays asleep for the love of God. But she might.
Well, hopefully, Mr. Kirioff doesn't get excited and start shouting, and then wakes her up because Cat will come in here and slap him. And right,
I'm like 2 rooms away. There's no chance. He hopes.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this show is supported by Patreon. So if you do enjoy the show, go to patreon.com/hotfix and support the show, because it all goes towards the production of this show, because it takes quite a lot of time to put together. And yeah, check that out. Anyway, let's get into it.
It's quality. Let's go straight in. There's been fairly big news over the last couple of days, which is that Fable Legends has been cancelled, and Lionhead Studios, which are quite the old studio really, is being closed by Microsoft. So Microsoft have just announced that the long-in-development Fable Legends is cancelled, and furthermore that it is in discussions with employees about closing down Lionhead. That's not the end of the bad news either. Press Play Studios, which have been working on the Xbox One exclusive Project Knoxville, will also be shut down. These have been tough decisions, and we have not made them lightly, nor are they a reflection on these development teams. We are incredibly fortunate to have the talent, creativity, and commitment of the people at these studios. Microsoft Studios Europe General Manager Hanno Lemke.
I mean that's just generic comment, ain't it?
It really
we're very
is,
talented people. All right, so when this news dropped, I was like, some guy over Skype sent me a message. He was like, "Oh, Lionhead Studios are gone," and I was like, "Lionhead? Oh yeah, the Fable guys." And then I was like, "What was their last game? Oh, that's right. I remember the last game was the Fable Legends thing they announced. I think it was at an E3 and one of the when it was the Microsoft press conference. I think for the Xbox.
Yeah,
and it looked like. Do you remember that game called Dungeon Land? Paradox released a game called Dungeon Land, where like one guy played the dungeon master and could set the traps and decide what monsters spawned. The other players played as like a group trying to survive. Like they each controlled an individual character, kind of like an action RPG thing. I think that's what this was, and it with like some MOBA elements in it or something.
It looked really strange. It was a confusing looking game, which might have been part of the problem.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's been in development for
a long time, hasn't it?
Time, and in a way, it is kind of sad because I mean, Lionhead are admittedly this was with Molyneux at the helm, which I mean, I don't particularly like Molyneux, but Lionhead and Molyneux together, since he founded the company, they did produce Black and White and Black and White 2. Now, I really like.
Wasn't Black and White cut down though? Wasn't that not what it was meant to have been?
Even Black and White was not like the feature packed, the promised land that Peter Molyneux had made it out to be, but it was still a really good game. Like, it was still really enjoyable, and I really love that game. I also enjoyed Black and White 2, but it wasn't quite as good as Black and White 1. And by all accounts, people enjoyed Fable, and they enjoyed Fable 2. The movies was weird. That was a weird game. I don't know where that came from. They're responsible for that as well. But when you actually look at what they've done, it's kind of Black and White and Fable. I mean, you can see on the release that, well, go to Wikipedia and it's Black and White Creature Isle, Fable Lost Chapters, Black and White 2, the movies, Black and White 2, Battle of the Gods, the movies, Stunts and Effects, Fable 2, Fable 3, Fable Heroes, Fable Journey, Fable Anniversary, and then Fable Legends. It kind of seems to me that the creativity side of things petered out slightly. They were just like...
Petered out?
I didn't even think about that.
No, right, what I'm thinking here is this... It's been in development, like you said, for quite some time. And it was probably at the start of the whole MOBA rush where it was like, oh, you know what? This might be a good idea because it sort of combines other elements of other genres together. We know MOBA's becoming fairly popular. And also, it's Fable. People know what Fable is. So I think this will be quite good. But then it just took too long. And then I'm sure this happens. I mean, I've not been privy to behind-the-scenes discussions of game development or anything like that. But they must, when a project's taken a long time, they must reevaluate and think, what actually is going to happen now? What's the way the market is going? Will this game succeed in this market? And it's Fable. I mean, hell, look at Ubisoft. They're not making an Assassin's Creed this year because they know what franchise fatigue, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, another game.
And it's not just that, but it's also that Fable Legends is not like the other Fable games. I mean, like, Fable is a fairly... It's an RPG, isn't it? That's what it's been since the start.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, Fable Legends. It's not anything like the other Fable games. It's just got the name attached to it. I mean, this game has been doing
the name will help it sell,
yeah. But then again, it's free-to-play. They planned it to be free-to-play. And it was announced in... Well, it began development in 2012, and it was announced on the 20th of August 2013. That's a long time to develop a free-to-play game.
So hang on, what's the argument here? It's free-to-play, so they should just launch it anyway, but it's still going to have server infrastructure, and it's going to cost them money to run it, and nobody's going to play it. I think that's what they've realised. Like, somebody sat there and gone, guys, we spent the last 4 years on a game, nobody's going to play it, and they're like, well, shit. And Microsoft have come in and gone, what are your other ideas? Fable, Platinum. No.
It's a long time to develop. Firstly, a free-to-play game, and secondly, a free-to-play game that
hang on,
it's not even going to come out. It's development like 4 years.
I know, but development time doesn't really matter if it's a good idea, or if it's something which. I mean, look at that Stardew Valley. I know this isn't really a fucking fair comparison because that's an indie game made by one guy, not a massive corporation. That's been in development for years, and it came out at the right time, and people wanted to play it, and it's done really well. Fable Legends just looks like it'll be a AAA game that comes out that nobody cares about because, like you said, it's not Fable like the old Fable games. So anybody who is a fan of the Fable games will be like, well, this isn't the Fable I remember. And then it's in a really weird place where it's a really weird mixture of all these game genres.
Thing.
I don't know. It's like, well, this is a bit weird. And I mean, in one way, I'm not surprised. Microsoft, though, they obviously know where they make money.
Yeah.
The types of games that they're making, they're not stupid. But, I don't know. It's kind of sad in one way because Lionhead Studios is a UK company and it's been around for years, but not anymore.
And it's been responsible for some much loved games. I mean, for Fable to get to the point where they're producing Fable Legends, they couldn't have done that if there was no love for Fable to begin with. Like, they wouldn't use the name if there was no attachment to it by, gamers as a whole. And the Fable franchise is fairly well regarded. I know some people don't like it, but that's the same for all franchises. It's a shame because it is a UK company and because it's like there are games that they made that I really, really appreciated. And I realised that quite a bit of, like, for Black and White, for instance, a lot of that would have been Molyneux, for all that he's a complete waste of space now. But they are still responsible for something I really enjoyed and played a lot of hours of. And it's kind of nice when a company like that produced a game that you loved, like, years and years ago, is not only still going, but is actually still making stuff that's doing quite well. And then it's suddenly like, oh no, they're gone. No, they're gone. It's cancelled. Finished. Over. It's like a bit of a. It's not a very noble end, is it? Just to have like the big guy in the form of Microsoft go, we're cancelling development on this, and we're probably going to close down Lionhead, and that's it. And it's like it's a bit of a kind of feeble death in a way. It's like it's not bowing out. It's just sort of. It's not been heard from for a little bit. It was announced in 2013. We've not really heard much about it since then. And then in 2016, you just get, it's not going to happen anymore. Bye. And that's it. It's like, it's kind of sad. It's just, ugh.
Well, it is sad. But I mean, if they failed to deliver the game, and I mean, like I said, if the game was approved at a time where the money men thought they could make money on it, and then they realised we can't make money on this anymore because it's taking too long to develop and blah, 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 blah. It is sad. We don't know the full story why it was cancelled, but it's just, it is cancelled, and that's it.
Yeah.
Fable is a bit long in the tooth, though, to be honest. I mean, even the latest, the other Fable games didn't really get very good bloody reviews or anything, did they? It was just like, I mean, wasn't there one like a HD remake? Isn't that the anniversary one or something?
Yeah. I think part of the problem with the Fable series is, again, it comes down to Molyneux again with all the crazy stuff that he promises. It's like all of these villagers will have individual lives, and everything will be like it is in real life, and you'll be able to see this, that, and the other, and then you play it, and it's
but
the
Todd
same
Howard's like that from Bethesda. Like I mean, if you watch some of the, you know what, this guy's crazy. If you watch some of the videos of like even Oblivion, it's like radiant AI. Things will adapt, and it's like Oblivion is just that doesn't happen in Oblivion. It's like it's totally over the top. The same sort of thing, like over-promising madness.
That doesn't happen in bloody Skyrim, let alone Oblivion.
Don't happen in anything. That's just we've made it up. It's just like I don't know that. I feel like Molyneux's connected to this studio, yeah. So everybody knows he's going off the rails. So I mean, he doesn't work for them, right? But he's connected to them. So there's an attachment, so there might be some sort of associated stigma as a result of that. But I don't think that's going to be enough to shut the studio down. That's just wild speculation by me, and it's definitely not enough. I've just answered my own question. But I think it is sad that they've gone. It's not really. I mean, the fact that when I seen the announcement, I was like, "What? Oh, they're working on Fable Legends." Oh,
yeah,
I didn't even care. You know,
you have to remind yourself of what a studio is doing before you can actually be interested. Then they're not doing well, and especially when it's a studio that's got kind of the history that Lionhead has got. Like, it's not like they've always been irrelevant. You know, there was a point where it was like, oh yeah, Lionhead, that's Molyneux's lot. It's going to be great to see what they come up with, and then to go from that to like Lionhead, are they still going? What are they doing? Oh, they're not going anymore. Oh dear, goodbye. It's just such a. It's like it feels like a bit of a waste. But then again, I'm sure the people there are going to move on to other jobs because let's face it, you're not going to.
Well, I'd imagine they would because they're. I mean, if they've worked at Lionhead for years, that's a AAA studio. There'll be. I mean, there's loads of game developers. There'll be some place for those people. I mean, it's sad that people lose their jobs, but I'd imagine there would be work for those people because, I mean, AAA game development. You know, you need concept artists, you need 3D modelers, you need game directors, you need loads of stuff.
It's crazy that kind of, isn't it?
It is, but that kind of experience is not like, or at least in my mind, it's not very prevalent because there's not that many game development studios. Let's be honest. I mean, there's a lot, but it's not like thousands upon thousands and thousands of people. They're very specific roles. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck. And I think I've seen things like Paradox Interactive were tweeting out saying like, "Oh, apply to us."
I'm sure
we'll take some of you on board, and they've done that before when other studios have shut down as well, which is a good thing to do because you know that they're skilled people, even if they were working. Because I think the way this goes is the game. Well, basically, I guess the designers and the directors are the ones who come up with the idea. I mean, if you're just a 3D modeler, you're just making models. It's not your. You don't need to know about what the game's doing. You just need to be able to make the models that they want you to make. You know, so it's not their fault. There might be some really talented people there that could be used elsewhere.
Out of the news, when it just say Press Play Studios are going as well, I have to admit, know nothing about Press Play Studios.
I'm going to Google them. I'm not familiar with them.
I mean, they were producing an Xbox One exclusive. So, given that I don't have the Xbox One, it's kind of, I'd say, understandable that you're not immediately like familiar with it.
Press Play Studios is actually a studio for recording sound. Press Play, this must be them. This is a German game development company.
Yeah.
Oh, these are. No, they're not. I thought these were like. Hang on. Max and the Magic Maker, Tentacles Enter the Dolphin, Max the Curse of Brotherhood, Tentacles Enter the Mind, Kalimba, and Project Knoxville, but that was the cancelled one. Yeah. These are like indie games, but also available on. They're like mobile games. It looks like mobile, like indie kind of games. Yeah, mobile like indie platformers for the Xbox One. A couple of them are. Tentacle Enter the Mind is a game which is free if you buy Windows 8. You know, so you can see that there's a lot of connection with Microsoft there. Yeah, I don't know.
So the in-house sort of small game development company that Microsoft got hold of.
Yeah, which is just, Again, they've made nothing that I was familiar with, so...
No. Scrolling down slightly and seeing Age of Empires on the list of stuff owned by Microsoft Studios kind of made me laugh because someone asked Bill Gates about that on his last AMA on Reddit.
Did they? What did he say?
It was something like, what are the plans for for Age of Empires? We haven't had a new game for ages. And he said something along the lines of, I'm willing to talk about it, how many empires would you like, or something. It's like a totally daft answer. I just love the idea that he's not even anything to do with Microsoft anymore. He's just, not quite to the same degree that he was.
Yeah.
But it's just like, take a break from curing malaria or whatever it is you're doing and make another Age of Empires. That'd be grand. So well, let's move on to The Division. Now, The Division has broken Ubisoft's sales records.
Can I just come out with a disclaimer before you go into this? So, The Division, I made videos on it. In fact, the video I made on The Division where I said it's boring, it just sums up my thoughts on The Division. It's, if you like the game, you like the game. It's not like I'm hammering the game, ripping it apart, because the game is a perfectly playable game. It's just, in my opinion, quite a boring game. It's just a third-person shooter kind of looty thing, and I don't like its setting and all of that. So all of that works against my mind. Obviously, the other video I made with the queue, that just made me laugh. That was like that to me is really the sort of thing that only happens in a Ubisoft game. And then the fact that there actually is the guy without the face in this game as well just blew my mind. I was like, no way. I mean,
how can
they must be using the same engine. They must be using the same engine or something. But honestly, that made me laugh. But yeah, The Division is a bland game. But then again, I like Destiny for what it was, and Destiny is a really bland game with no story at the time. Yeah, I still enjoyed that. So at the end of the day, you got to, if you enjoy games, you enjoy games. But obviously, we give our opinions on games. So yeah, take it with a pinch of salt.
It does kind of make me laugh in a way that previous
Unless
to this,
you agree with me,
Watch Dogs. Go on. Watch Dogs was their previous day one bestseller, which shifted 4 million copies over the course of a week. Which says to me that, and I say says to me as if we didn't already know this, Ubisoft are great at building up hype, and they're great at building up expectation, and then they release something, especially sort of newish IPs or new IPs, like when they brought Far Cry back, and it's like, oh my god, look at this. When they announced Watch Dogs, and everyone was looking at it going, holy shit, look at this. The Division, the closing the door on the car. I mean, that was like, that became a meme instantly.
When the game starts, when you play the game, when it starts, goes through the intro, tells you about the stupid story, and then the character selection comes up, well, the character creation, and the car door's slightly open, and your guy walks forward, shuts the door, and then looks into the window. And that's where you, like, the reflections where you do your face. That is a total reference to that, and that made me laugh. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is taking the piss.
They're really good at stuff like that. But for me personally, the Watch Dogs was underwhelming, and to say the least, because it didn't bloody work when it was first released.
Well, Watch Dogs was just shit because it promised the earth and didn't give you what it. Like when you watch those trailers at E3, the graphics looked awesome. The guy's going around hacking people with his mobile phone. It's like, whoa, this looks great. You know,
it was like when GTA it actually happened, with hacking.
Like, but when it came out, it was like a really shit GTA with hacking.
Yeah,
you know, you've gone enough on about the fact there's no police in the water on boats and all of that shit. So it was a disaster show. But yeah, I can understand how that would have been their biggest selling thing because everybody was hyped for it. Because you got to remember, if you put yourself into the shoes of somebody who doesn't read gaming news every day and somebody who just plays games when they come out, if you'd seen a trailer for The Division, for Watch Dogs, you'd be like, wow. And the same for The Division. The Division is heavily advertised. I mean, I watch a lot of football. It was heavily advertised during halftime breaks or before matches, all over the place. It's like this sort of it wasn't live action. It was like really. I think it was quite shit. It was CGI, but it looked a bit weird. But it was all like, "Are you the Division? Join the Division. We will take back the city," and all of this shit. You know, we're mankind's last hope.
Yeah,
people like that stuff, and like you said, I think they're just good at advertising. I mean, it's interesting watching them.
Better at, making the games more enjoyable. Then again, that's not really fair because it's like I just don't like the idea.
I think what it is because you got to think it's a big company. It's like EA or somebody. They've got a PR department for every game. They've got community managers for every game. And then they've got development studios that they work with. And on a time scale of a game, if a game's going to launch, then there'll be certain like PR things. Okay, we do this, we do this, we do this. And that's just going to happen. The game needs to keep up with this. And then if it doesn't deliver, that's when this crashes and that crashes. They've kind of got to work together. And I think what we do see is, and I agree with what you said, is they've got a very good marketing department, but the development teams that they've got running are either getting pushed by the money man or whatever, or maybe the marketing department's too good and is overselling their products. But this did come as a shock to me that this is their biggest selling game. I was like, well, their day one selling game. I was like, what?
At first, At first, I was like, okay, I can see that because the marketing for it was really good. But for me, the marketing for it was really good until the last couple of trailers before the game released. At which point, I couldn't work out what game it was. Because up to that point, it was like, Tom Clancy's The Division, and then it's like, oh, look at this tactical, like, third-person shooting squad-based. Oh, what is this? What is it? Is it like PvP? That could be really good. I really like the environment. That's really cool. And then it was suddenly there was PvE, but there was also PvP at the same time, but you could also betray the people that you were working with, except you weren't working with them, you were just pretending to. All in one trailer, and I just sort of... I mean, both of us, we were like, when we talked about it on Hotfix, we were like, what the hell is this game? Like, what is this? I don't understand what it's about. What are you supposed to do? What is the purpose of The Division? Like, what is the actual core gameplay for it? Why are you doing what you're doing? And I had no answer to that. And I thought to myself, now, I feel like I watch a lot of game trailers, funnily enough, and play a fair number of games. I feel like if someone like me can't look at a trailer and immediately go, okay, I know how that works, then that trailer's failed. But obviously I was completely wrong with that, because it can't have dampened down enthusiasm.
This is the thing, though, isn't it? It's like, what does a trailer have to sell? To us, we want to see everybody, like us, you guys watching this and listen to this, you want to see gameplay footage, don't you? You want to see the UI. You want to see you don't want to see some faked bullshit E3 gameplay or a trailer which is just CGI or something. But I'm pretty sure the average guy does want to see that, and it's like, wow, look at that. And then that's what they base their purchases off. And it has to work. If you spend more dollars than the other game that's coming out at the same time as your game on advertising, more people see it, and then more people will probably buy it. Because the reviews of The Division, as far as, well, I mean, the first impressions, there can't really be a review of it, because you'd have to play the game for some time before you could put out a review, because you level up, it's about leveling up and gearing up, doing the missions, PvE, going into the Dark Zone. I think there's different levels of Dark Zone and all that, which is the PvP, which appears to be the end game, although you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. It's just like an okay game. It's not bad. It's not great. Yeah. It would be a good time waster. I think if you haven't played games like Destiny, well, specifically Destiny, which is a shooter loot gatherer game, which is what The Division is, a shooter loot gatherer game, then you might be a little bit more open. I mean, if I didn't play Destiny and played this, I might be like, hey, you know what? This is actually scratching an itch, which I've already had scratched. I don't know, but it's graphically, it's not shit. It's quite impressive for what it is. I know a lot of the drivers, especially the NVIDIA drivers, things like SLI and whatever don't work, which they will obviously fix. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not great. It's just The Division. And I am still shocked. I am still surprised it sold as many as it did. Because the audience this is selling to is the Call of Duty audience, isn't it? And on the whole, I'd say. I mean, if I see stuff advertised on Premier League games, that means it's being sold to the COD crowd. Because you very rarely get somebody who's a hardcore PC gamer who watches football. No, don't get me wrong, you do. I mean, look at me. I watch football and I ride bikes and do whatever. But
it's not like the main
it's usually
audience,
the lads. You know, it's the lad audience. It's the guys who buy FIFA, the guys who play COD. And it seems that they're buying this game.
I will say one thing that really puts me off The Division is... Correct me if I'm wrong, right? You are part of The Division. Your task is basically you need to go into the city, get rid of the bad guys, the looters, and take back the city.
Yeah,
to save humanity. You're reclaiming the city from the looters and the rioters and the people who decided to just go around nicking everything and trashing up the place. Generally speaking, the big problem I have with that, and this is going to sound daft, because in a way this didn't affect my enjoyment of Destiny. Destiny had no story. But in a way, I was okay with that, because I was satisfied with, look at the pretty planets and my cool gun that fires lightning bullets and, it's aliens. Whatever it is, it's aliens. I can deal with that. The Division, you're taking the moral high ground of, we're going to kill the looters because they're looting the city and ruining it, and then you're going into places and looting everything and taking it home with you? I don't know whether there's supposed to be some sort of moral ambiguity there, but I don't know why. It puts me off just because it's like, it feels ham-fisted. It's like, we're the good guys. Why are you the good guys? You're doing exactly the same as the bad guys. Because we're The Division.
This is sort of like my issue with the game as well, where like you shoot a guy with a hoodie 10 times in the head and he doesn't die. Well, it obviously has to be like that because it's a level-based shooter RPG. That's what it is, third-person shooter RPG. You can't like just be headshotting people and killing them instantly. It would just be like, well, it'd be too easy. I understand why. I mean, it's like Borderlands, right? But just set in New York and not in some fantasy universe. The problem is, when you set something in reality which is so far disconnected from reality. I mean, this would never happen. but it's a game. This is the counter argument to what I'm about to say. But it is a game. I know that's a shit counter argument, but it is a game. And you're running around New York. So the story is, some disease has been impregnated into dollar bills. Black Friday happened. Loads of dollar bills were spent. Everybody got infected in New York. The city got closed off. Looters and whatever started to take over the city. The agents, the division, get activated. And there's like a guy with his baby, and he just puts his baby down because he's the division, and he's off to the New York now, and just totally crazy shit. But I mean, I guess it adds to the disconnect. I guess everyday man working his job is then like, I'm the division, and then he's the guy playing the division, that kind of thing. And off they go to New York, and then you're just running through the city, and you're just trying to establish your base. You're trying to help the people who are still in the city because they're still civilians. And like you said, all you're doing is running around shooting guys and taking gear off them and hoping you get good gear, which in reality, something like The Division would have the best gear straight away. They would go into the city and they would just start getting rid of the criminals, and it would be like headshots for days. There'd be tanks, there'd be like helicopters. It wouldn't just be like the city's closed off and just guys running around shooting. So it is really disconnected. But on the other hand, it is a game. Yeah. And I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's just an average game. Like I called it a bland game, and I think it kind of is a bland game. But I could still play it myself. I could still sit there and play it for a few hours and think, all right, it was brainless, blah blah blah, and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I bought the game, I would be kind of disappointed with it. But it wouldn't be like, this is really shit, I'm going to take it back to the shop disappointed. It would be like,
For what I've seen as well,
that's all I think about the game.
From what I've seen, quite a few people as well kind of are in a strange position where they've gone from playing Rainbow Six to playing The Division, and I've seen quite a few. I follow quite a lot of streamers on Twitter, and I've seen a good sort of 5 or 6 of them who have gone, we're going to play The Division, and then they've played it for an hour, and then they've gone, nah, we're going to play Rainbow Six. It's better.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not reflected in the sales or anything, and it's a small sample number. But I just kind of find it interesting that you've got these two shooters which are very much kind of very, very opposite in a way, because Rainbow Six Siege is, you get shot twice, you're probably going to die. Like, if you get shot in the head, you're just dead. If you get shot in the leg, then you don't lose all your health, but you're not looking good either. And then on like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you've got The Division, which is, shoot a guy in the head 10 times, but he's wearing a hoodie, therefore he doesn't die. It's a strange disconnect for me, and I think that's part of the problem that I have with The Division as a whole, where I'm perfectly fine with suspending disbelief. Like, you have to do that as a game when you're playing games, because otherwise you would not get more than half an hour into most games. I mean, look at every MMO in history. You are the chosen one, go and kill 10 rats. Okay, well, this is fucking
and these
stupid.
10 other guys next to you are also the chosen one.
Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to do it. But it's like, it is that thing that you've just said about, it's like you take this setting, this realistic setting, where it's like, this is all very familiar to you as a person. I mean, not even in Call of Duty can you rag someone in the head repeatedly and they don't die, because that's just not how these games are typically set out. But with The Division, the setting they've chosen...
They're not level-driven games, but like Division is. It forces that. It has to be.
It's
like
almost
that.
like they could have taken all of the like the elements of the game and done something with the story, or done something with the setting to make it so that it fits. It's the same problem that I have with Battlefield Hardline, where it's like cops versus robbers, except for some reason the robbers are spending $2.5 million on a helicopter that they're only going to get 50 grand from the bank from because they're robbing the wrong. But it's like, that disconnect is a bit too steep for me. Like, occasionally I got it when I was playing like Tomb Raider, for instance. I mean, Lara Croft is fairly solid, but she's not survived a 50-foot drop into water filled with rusty spikes solid. She's not that solid. And, when you... Assassin's Creed, again, really bad for it, where you sort of run up a tower and you there's a handhold above you, but it requires jumping up and back like 2 meters, except you're hanging on with your hands, and you just go, huh, and it's really easy. And Lara Croft has started doing that now. I've seen clips of the newest Tomb Raider, which I've completely forgotten the name of, but she does stuff like that. It's like there's a ledge, and she goes, huh, and up she goes, because that's how it works. A little part of me does struggle with that. So when I get something that requires such a big suspension of disbelief in the Division, it's like, I just can't bridge that gap very well. And I don't know whether that's probably just something to do with me in terms of trying to accept story.
I know. This is like this is a problem with the game. It's like it's almost like we're ragging on it for that, but it's a game, and that's how it has to be because the way it's been set up. But it just isn't a game that blows your socks off. It's just like it's boring. I think it's boring. It's all right. You can mindlessly grind for better loot and whatever. I mean, the example about streamers and Rainbow Six. It's because it's not exciting, that's why. You watch a Diablo 3 streamer, it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
You watch a Diablo, honestly, you watch a Diablo 3 stream, why do you do that? Well, I'll tell you why I watched Diablo 3 stream, to see how the guy built his fucking wizard. That was it. I watched for 10 minutes and was like, okay, and left. Because it's boring. Because it's just the same thing. That's why this isn't a game which is conducive to streaming, but that's doesn't make it a bad game because streaming is a completely different thing. Whereas Rainbow Six is like, whoa, what's going to happen? Oh shit, that's happened. Boom. It's like XCOM 2, right? Great to stream because you don't know what's going to happen. Whereas, you know, if I was streaming American Truck Simulator, even better to stream. If I was streaming, I don't know. I've run out of The Division. Then it would be like.
Or just running
or
normal.
Diablo 3 or World of Warcraft or anything like that, yeah? If I
or
was,
Destiny, just running normals.
Yeah,
where you're
Destiny,
never going to die.
Yeah, it's something like, which is just, it's like a good time waste. And I'm not saying it's a bad game for that. I just think it's a bit boring, The Division. That's it. That's all I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Not necessarily bad. There's just other stuff that I'd rather play, is basically what it comes down to.
I just don't see a situation where somebody runs up to you and goes, The Division is awesome, buy it.
I can see people going, yeah, it's all right. That's what it really strikes me as. Yeah, it's not bad. But I don't want a game that's not bad. I want a game that's quality. Which I don't know why we're going on to this from that. That's not really a segue. Riot Games, because League of Legends isn't quality, not anymore. No, it's all just whatever. Riot Games acquires Radiant Entertainment, Rising Thunder no more. So this is really weird. Radiant Entertainment announced today that it's been acquired by League of Legends studio Riot Games.
I love that. We've been acquired.
Oh god, we have been bought with millions upon millions of dollars. The studio also teased a new game that we're incredibly excited about, but on a less happy note, said that the alpha test for the free-to-play fighting game Rising Thunder is coming to an end.
Oh.
We wish we could say more now, but rest assured you'll hear more when the time is right. For now, we'll be closing the Rising Thunder Alpha on March 18th, thanks to everyone who participated in the test Radiant wrote. As for its other project, the block-based building game Stonehearth, Radiant said work will continue full speed ahead.
Stonehearth? Hang on a minute. Stonehearth? Hearthstone?
It's not the best name. And that the delivery of alpha builds will be maintained at its current pace.
Okay.
So, to everyone who supported us, blah blah, thank you very much. The announcement isn't entirely clear on the fate of Rising Thunder, but according to Gamasutra, Radiant said that development has been halted as a result of the acquisition, which is unfortunate because it sounded rather promising in their preview. We're waiting for the confirmation from Radiant on our end, and we will update when we hear back. It says at the bottom of this, for now the acquisition is one of the biggest surprises of the year. Riot is one of the biggest studios in the world in terms of personnel, but it has made no such acquisitions during its 10-year history. Riot has hinted that it's working on a game other than League of Legends, but it's unclear whether this acquisition feeds into that unannounced project or will represent something completely new. It is so random for Riot to just acquire this studio. And, I mean, of all studios, why this studio? Like, let's be honest, Riot are not short of cash. They are not sitting there going, oh shit, lads, the coffers are a bit low. We're running out of doubloons. What are we going to do? They are rolling it in money. They've probably got an office where if you're feeling sad, you just walk in and there's a pile of $100 bills in the centre and you just throw yourself into it and then you roll around a bit and then you can take however many you want home. And then they just replenish it the next day. That would be ridiculous. I would absolutely do that if I had that much money, though. And they've never done anything like this. I mean, they have been going for like 10 years.
What is this game?
What the hell is this?
What the hell is this game? Rising Thunder? Is this a MOBA?
Well, Rising Thunder was a
fighting game.
It was a fighting game.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, it was that free-to-play fighting game. It looked pretty good, to be honest.
All right. So maybe they're doing. Maybe they're doing like a fucking League of Legends, like Street Fighter style game, with the League of Legends characters fighting each other like that in a beat 'em up style thing. would be random, but like you said, they've got money for days, and if they've just bought a studio which has already developed all of that, all they've got to do is stick their models into their game engine, and then they've got League of Legends Face Off, where they just beat the shit out of each other. That'd be really random. But you know what, right? I say it'd be really random.
It'd be a strange direction to go with the characters, though.
Who cares? Like, I've just answered my own question in my mind here. If you're Riot and you've got all the money in the world, and you've got this massive game which makes shitloads of money, and all the characters are well known, and you, for some reason, like beat-em-up games, you might want to make one because you totally can. You know, there's
almost like the Blizzard syndrome, where it's like, oh, we'll just try it.
Yeah,
we like all these games. We'll just put them all in one big mess. Like Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone. Both of those were like, let's give it a go. Fancy it? Let's try it. Yeah, go for it.
It is, yeah. I think those companies are obviously very rich based off their past projects, so they can spend time developing other projects. I mean, look at Blizzard. They were working on Titan, which became Overwatch. Obviously, what they were working on wasn't very good, but I remember when I first got onto the Overwatch closed beta, when it started, I was like, this is like a complete game. And in fact, it hasn't really changed that much, even now. It's just been balance changes. It hasn't been like complete rewrites of, well, there's been some changes to classes, but it's not totally changed. All of the artwork, all of the assets, the engine and everything had been built for years and years and years. So it's obviously going to be used for something. And they can just go, we don't think this is going to work, so we'll try something else. Riot are the same. There's only a few companies that can do this. I think Riot are owned by Tencent, though, aren't they? Or a percentage of them is owned by Tencent from China.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Blizzard, I mean, you could maybe compare that to, like, the Blizzard-Activision merger almost. I don't think Tencent own Riot. Maybe they do. I want to Google this.
I think, haven't they got shares in Riot? I don't think it's controlling shares, but I'm sure they've got shares in them. But the thing is as well that...
Yeah, they have. They've got a majority share in Riot Games, so they have bought a large proportion of the company.
That's interesting. Oh, I wonder that. Because the other thing as well that's interesting to me is Radiant Entertainment get acquired.
Yeah.
Rising Thunder's cancelled. They say that there's a new game that they're incredibly excited about, which, as you say, could actually be... You know, they could very well do a Street Fighter-style game using the League of Legends characters. But Riot also says that it's working on a game other than League of Legends. Now, the question to me is this going to be 2 new games from Riot and the now Riot-owned Radiant, or did Riot acquire Radiant to help build their game that they've been working on but haven't said anything about? And if so, is that game then going to be published through Radiant as opposed to being published through Riot? Well, not published, but you know what I mean. It's like, is it going to be under Radiant's name? Yeah, is it going to be under Radiant's name, or is it going to be under Riot's name? Have we got 2 new games, or have we got one new game that they're producing in conjunction?
I don't know. Like, if you look at like EA and people like that, when they take over studios and they, like, you know, Westwood, and they call them EA something else, and then like when they you've got DICE, who are like EA DICE, and then there's other bits and pieces. It's like they attribute the name. What's the one from Mass Effect? BioWare. They were slamming that on everything. It's like, oh, it's a BioWare game. It's a BioWare game, and all of that shit. Who the hell are Radiant?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you just like Radiant Entertainment, isn't like Riot is way better. Like, if you got to imagine this massive, mega player base of League of Legends, they don't know who the fuck Radiant is, but they know Riot is the newest game from Riot. That's what it will be, and whatever that is. I mean, they do need new games. They can't just keep League of Legends going forever, because League of Legends will suffer from World of Warcraft syndrome, where it's at the height of its power now. Yeah. Okay, it's very powerful, and it is still growing, but there'll come a point where the market changes again. I mean, if you go 10 years ago, World of Warcraft launched. That is when MMOs started to just become massively dominant, and WoW made a shitload of money, still does, because it charged you had to pay a monthly fee, right? And buy the game. Then the market started to shift in like late 2011 to this free-to-play kind of style. And League of Legends was on that bandwagon from the beginning, based on the game called Dota, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. They made their own little game. It was free-to-play. It became wildly popular because Dota was not free-to-play at the time. You had to buy... I don't know whether Dota 2 was out then. Might have been. But League of Legends was 2009, I think it was, when that started. The original Dota, I mean, imagine, even if Dota 2 wasn't out, the original Dota, you'd have to buy Warcraft 3 and then you could play it. And Dota 2, you had to have there was like a crazy invite system to that. It wasn't just free to play. Like you couldn't just download it and play it while it was launching, because I remember that. But yeah. They basically hit a goldmine. So now it would be ideal for them, with all of their cash, to develop other games to try and make themselves more stable. Like, I mean, they probably do look at Blizzard and think, well, look at Blizzard, all these IPs. They're stable, aren't they?
It's not like they just don't similar position.
Depend on one game, and it's like, oh, the game. Yeah. Like, look at Lionhead. They just depended on Fable, and Fable went to shit, so they went into the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Riot are in such a strong position that it would be, in a way, it'd be more crazy if they just sat there and did nothing, but carried on pushing League of Legends and didn't try to branch out. But this is the first action of its type that they've ever performed in like 10 years of the company. So
well, I'm Googling how much they make a month.
It's going to be something.
Well, whatever these figures are fucking on, we don't know. On VentureBeat, I don't know what they've based these on, but they say Dota 2 makes $18 million a month. League of Legends makes that every 5 days.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, if that's true. But that's not as much as WoW, though, is it? Doesn't WoW make more money than that?
I think it might do, but then WoW has got the kind of age advantage, hasn't it?
The fact is, League of Legends is it makes money, and it's got the biggest player base of any game. In fact, I read an article about, because I've been playing that stupid Clash Royale game on my phone, about Supercell. 70 million players active a day on Supercell games.
That's amazing.
Lot. That's a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
That's on Clash of Clans, Boom Beach, and Clash Royale. Mainly Clash of Clans, like.
God, that's crazy.
Actually, I went down the rabbit hole. This was crazy, I went too deep, like, never go too deep, because it causes grievous injuries. And I Googled Clash Royale. Oh, well, I YouTube searched it, and I found all these channels where all they do is play these mobile games, and I'm just like... I was like, what the hell have I found here? And there's like tactics to play Clash of Clans. I mean, obviously they're strategy games, so they need tactics. I mean, Clash Royale, you should download that and give it a go, because it's quite good. It is quite good, and I recommend everybody downloads it, because it's down the rabbit hole. Yeah, but I'm not. I came back out, man. I was like like McGee. I don't go down the hole and never return. But yeah, it's a frightening place, isn't it?
I get 70 million is vast. Mind you, $18 million every 5 days is vast as well. Christ. I'll tell you what, just before we...
Supercell, I'm Googling Supercell. You carry on. They must be worth loads, man. They've got to be.
Just before you give the Supercell figures, for those watching, not listening, those listening, you won't be able to tell, but those watching, it's Skype. That's all I'm going to say. Just Skype. We've tried, for the love of God, we try constantly, but it hates us and everything we do and all our works, and...
It looks okay to me, from a great height. It looks okay to me, though.
It's somewhat kind of 8-bit era for me.
It's all right.
We can still see your face. It's just mildly pixelated. You
just need to listen to my voice. That's
mildly.
Looks clear to me, right? Okay, Clash of Clans makes $1 million a day. That's just Clash of Clans.
Oh, God.
Mr. Laba Laba. That's pretty good. Yeah. That's really good. In fact, Clash Royale is making $1.5 million a day. It's making even more.
It's like
mobile gaming.
I can't.
It's crazy,
my mind
isn't it?
Cannot comprehend that much a day. Like I cannot.
You know, Game of War that was promoted by like American celebrities and whatever. $800,000 a day that makes.
What about that? What is it? Mobile? Is it Mobile Warfare? The one that Arnie and all them.
Oh, Mobile Strike.
Yeah.
570 grand a day.
It's still not as much though.
No, well the thing, yeah, I know, but I think
it's still 570 grand a day, but it's not.
These mobile games though, they're like they've got massive, like mega install bases, but then only like 1% actually spend money on the game. But obviously, it translates into crazy revenue. But that's mad.
I'd take 570 grand a day. I'd be happy with that. I'd cope. Christ. I tell you who isn't making $570,000 a day, bloke. 38 Studios. Now, this is a story that's been going on for years at this point.
I've told this story before about that Curt Schilling guy, but I'm telling you again. I used to play EverQuest 2, and he used to play EverQuest 2, and Sony put him in the game. And I remember on the Thundering Steps dock, I'm running past this guy, and there's just a fucking American baseball player. I'm like, what? And he said something, and I just was like, what the hell is this? I don't know what it was, but that's what it was. That's all I know about Curt Schilling. And also that he's now bankrupt, and he did work for ESPN, but he said something racist, and so they fired him. And some other stuff happened.
It's not going well for the lad.
I think he was racist anyway. No, he's not racist, but he just made a comment, and it was like, oh, God.
Yeah, it was not a clever comment to make.
Yeah.
In the endless saga that is the 38 Studios saga, there's now fraud charges that have been brought in. So, as PC Gamer says, you have to feel sorry for anyone even remotely... Well, I added the even there. You have to feel sorry for anyone remotely connected to 38 Studios' financing deal with the state of Rhode Island. To date, it's claimed 38 Studios itself, its sister studio Big Huge Games, the solvency of its founder Curt Schilling, and about $36 million of public money. And yet the misery continues because the US Securities and Exchange Commission has now charged the Rhode Island Commerce Corporation and Wells Fargo, one of the banks that worked on the bond offering, with defrauding investors. The complaint alleges that key staff involved knew 38 Studios would require $25 million more than the $50 million deal would yield to see its Amalur MMO project Copernicus to completion. According to the SEC, this was not made apparent to investors. 38 Studios' funding gap was known at the time of the bond placement memo was sent to investors. It was not speculative. It was an existing risk that should have been disclosed to potential investors in the offering, the complaint reads. Wells Fargo is also accused of not disclosing a conflict of interest, representing as it did both 38 Studios, the loan's recipient, and Rhode Island, which was stumping up the cash. As you might expect, Wells Fargo is contesting the claim, so legal proceedings will grind miserably on 4 years after 38 Studios closed its doors. We first talked about this 4 years ago. This whole 38 Studios
when
thing.
They closed down. Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy that it is not... That not only it's still going on, but they're finding new stuff that was done incorrectly or badly or however you want to phrase it.
It was quite a bit of cash, though, wasn't it, that was given to them? Because I remember, like you said, the Rhode Island thing. They got money off New York State, I guess, to make the game.
Yeah.
And then the game... Like, this was a weird game, this was, because people say it's actually pretty good, because they turned it into a single-player RPG, didn't they? But it was meant to be an MMO. And it was like a single-player MMO with, like, all the kind of traditional MMO quests at the time, which I guess is understandable if Curt Schilling liked EverQuest and whatever. He probably wanted to make the next EverQuest in some respects.
Yeah,
but people have always said this is not bad. Like, it's not shit, but it's all right. But obviously, it was all the issues they had behind the scenes, wasn't it? Because I remember we spoke about Curt, because we read a massive document off, a massive like transcript from somebody, and it was they were saying like he don't know how to be a boss. Like, people would just be like, "I'm having a week off," and then they'd come back, and he'd say, "We need this to be made," and they'd go, "Okay," and the deadline is next week, and they do it next month, you know, and things like that. And he wouldn't fire people because he was like a guy who just liked games.
He wasn't a businessman. He was a baseball player, wasn't he?
I know, but he had a lot of money. Yeah, and he had a lot of money because he was he was like Wayne Rooney of baseball or somebody like that. He was a really popular baseball guy, like, and I think baseball players they can get quite old because if they're a pitcher, I think he was a pitcher. I'm going to Google this guy because he don't have to run, right? Does he? Curt Schilling. Let's have a look at this guy. Well, he looks old as shit in these pictures here. Played for the Red Sox. I don't know when
is it the Boston Red Sox?
Might be. Yeah, Boston Red Sox. He retired.
I don't know how I know that. Probably from learning about Curt Schilling.
You know what? I'm not sure. Hang on. How old was Curt?
Because the thing is, he poured all his money into this project, didn't he? So he had $50 million. There was a $50 million deal with Wells Fargo and Rhode Island Commerce Corporation.
Yeah.
There was his own personal finances as well, because he poured all of his own money into it. I'm pretty sure there was more money on top of that, but I can't remember where from off the top of my head. Because, like I say, we talked about this years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I think this was a case. World of Warcraft was at its prime, wasn't it? So I think this was a case again of like investors get approached. Hey, there's a new MMO. This other MMO makes a load of money. This one is going to have massive money to develop it. It should be competitive, so people inject money into it. Curt Schilling was 42 when he retired. You couldn't be 42 in football. I mean, there's been footballers who played when they were 40, but it's not. I mean, I think Teddy Sheringham played when he was 40. But it's not like he was playing 90 minutes. He was on the pitch for 10 minutes maybe, or something. And then he was off because he was knackered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and he was worth a lot of money. So I'm going to Google how much he was worth. How much was... It's all was. How much was Curt Schilling worth?
The thing is as well, he released it, I say he, 38 Studios released the Amalur, the game, what is it? Was it Reckoning, Kingdoms of Amalur or something? Amalur, Kingdoms of Amalur,
Reckoning. Yeah, it had a funny name.
Yeah, and he even said when it was released, because I remember he had Day 9 play it for a start. He did an interview with Day 9 and had Day 9 play it.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like a paid stream thing. And they were talking to him, like, oh yeah, he was like, yeah, well we're releasing this as it is. We wanted to make an MMO, and what we're hoping to do is take the funds from this and finish off the MMO section. It'd be like a brand new MMO, and it did all right. But then suddenly, people came and knocking for cash. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure people came and knocking for their money after that, because it was like, we've released this thing. How well did it do? I did all right. Any chance of return off all the money we've given you? No, I've already spent it all on trying to make the game that I meant to make in the first place, but didn't have enough money for. And then the shit hit the fan, and they were gone. Which, and that's got to be like another life lesson for people, just people who want to get in, like with money, who just want to get into doing something. Maybe fund a bit of it. Use your contacts to get the money. Maybe don't try and run it yourself, because if you don't have the experience, what are you going to do?
I know, but.
Well, you're going to
He was worth $115 million before he started the studio, and he's worth nothing now, because that's what happens. But yeah, it was... I think this probably happens quite a bit, but it's like obviously he enjoyed playing games, and he thought, I can do this, and looked at his bank account and thought, oh, I've got loads of money, let's go for it. And then just hired people, and then realised, I can probably get investment, because... These professional sports players are going to be in circles where they deal with people with loads of money, or things like that. They're just going to meet these people throughout their careers, whether that's through sponsorship, or whatever. They're going to meet these people. And then they can say to them, hey, I'm making a game. I've put this much of my own money in. If you walked up to me and said, I'll put $70 million of my own money into this thing, would you give me $30 million? I'd be like, fucking hell. Like, if I was as rich as you, let's say, we were 100 millionaires, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, but he's put 70 million in. And I knew nothing about it, like you were making a product or something. I knew nothing about it, but I'd think, hey, this must be quite good.
That's 70 million a shitload of money to put in. Surely it must be something. Surely this has got legs.
Well, no, me personally, I'd be like, why is he asking me for money if he's put 70 million in? It must be about shit, he can fuck off. But you know what I mean? You can understand how people might think that way. I don't know. But it's a really complicated thing, this is. And it's just a tale of, don't give a guy... It would be like giving Molyneux money. It's not like anybody's done that. The public...
Don't ever give him money, for the love of God. I feel like that should be the unofficial motto of Unilost at this point. Don't give Peter Molyneux money. Just
it's got enough
under the banner on the channel. Don't give. It's like the message that appears every week.
Please unblock me on Twitter, Tim Schafer.
Yeah, why Tim? I never even said anything about Tim. I don't think I ever. No, that's a lie. I did. I think I said something about. I'm pretty sure, because I remember when we actually kept blocked, because I checked, and I remember at the time saying, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything about Tim, and then looking back at my Twitter feed, and one day it was like, Tim Schafer's a lying bastard or something, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe I did say something about Tim, fair enough. But still, don't block a man.
It's not like he'd be following us. He must have been searching Twitter for his name and sitting there going,
yeah. Or maybe there's like an auto-block list, like the Gamergate style one, but for game developers and publishers who are a bit fragile and don't want to be criticised. That would not surprise me, actually. That wouldn't surprise me if there was one of those. Anyway, let's talk films. I know you're excited, bloke. I know you're thrilled.
Can I just ask a question?
Movie is in the.
Can I ask why? Is Fassbender going to be the lead?
What, of Thief?
Yeah.
Hang on, let's have a look.
It's a joke because he's the fucking Assassin's Creed.
It would be. The thing is, I
would
genuinely
love it
checked
if he
because
was.
it would be funny if it was. Like, I didn't think he was, but it would have been funny if he was. I honestly don't think they can afford him. I'll be blunt. I don't think they can afford Mr. Fassbender. So, as PC Gamer says, the history of movies based on video games is not a particularly glorious one. They are not wrong. It doesn't seem to matter how popular the game might be, or how natural a fit for the silver screen it appears, the end result is almost inevitably bad. So maybe the decision to base a film on the Thief reboot...
No,
Thief
it's only
4
bad if Yui Boll is directing it.
Yeah, it's true.
Hello, Blood Rain.
Oh, God. I love this, though, sometimes known as Thief 4 or Thief 4.
I hate that.
It's an
I hate that.
to book
you know what I hate
anyway. It's not
when
even
I stream on the Twitch channel and people have got like numbers in the name, it destroys. There's a guy called Hellblazer, but he's got like fucking 4s and 3s in his name. I'm like, it kills me, man.
Brain
cannot compute that shit.
This isn't 1999. Get your act together. What are you doing?
You've got like a load of X's at the end of your name.
MLG
1337
no scope triple X sniper. Because anyway, so yeah, it's an effort to buck the trend of bad video game movies by turning it inside out. Because yes, a thief-based movie is something that somebody is trying to make happen. The Hollywood Reporter says LA-based production company Straight Up Films has acquired the rights to the property for, I'd imagine, £2 and a Snickers. Because who the fuck would even want it? Which is being written by Adam Mason and Simon Boyes. I don't know who either of those people are.
I've read Johnny Depp. It's yeah. I'll let you get to it.
The movie will be set in the game's dark fantasy world, according to the report, where a master thief tries to restore freedom, which has been denied by a magic-wielding tyrant. Okay. IMDb credits Straight Up Films with 10 movies going back to 2007, the most notable among them being the Johnny Depp vehicle Transcendence. Wasn't that bad? I seem to remember people thought that was quite bad.
Yeah, it
While
was.
Mason and Boy's most written screenwriting credit is Misconduct.
That was about uploading yourself into a computer. It was stupid.
Oh, God.
And he built a town. Oh, yeah. He was this mega rich guy, and he went out into a town in the middle of nowhere and built an underground research laboratory to upload himself into a fucking computer.
So they made Tron, is basically what happened there.
Well, no, because it was his aim to become like a...
Uh-oh. Just going to switch over to the desktop in the hope
gangster.
The camera recovers. Hold on while we try to get the call back. Anyway, we're going to continue with just the thing. We'll just carry on with the... We
don't even need Skype. We don't even use Skype for the audio. Yeah, Mike just said, we're trying to get the call. Why is it collapsed, though? What the hell?
I don't know. Who knows? As it does say at the bottom,
hey,
though, why would someone... Oh... I've got the little wheelie wheel of delight. It's not doing anything, though.
Oh.
Why would someone want to make a movie based on Thief now? This is the question.
Just call me back. Do you want me to call you back?
There we go. Tempted to just leave all this in and be funny. Anyway, why would someone want to make it? I know there's a new Thief coming out, but genuinely, who cares? Really? Honestly, if we're being serious and sensible about it, who is going to go and see Thief? I mean, I thought the same thing about Warcraft, where only people who like Warcraft would go and watch Warcraft. But at least it's got a bit more reach than fucking Thief, which is apparently on its 4th game, and which I didn't even realise there was a 4th one being made. Like, what's the point?
These must fall into the category of films, though, that like Jason Statham's involved in, where they've got like a crap budget, and they're just... Well, I don't know. They throw $15 million at it.
Crack.
Yeah, and like hope it just works. I don't know. You know, like, oh, we might make some profit. I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, it's Thief guy, right? Thief. It's a criminal guy. I'll watch this film. It might be some hardcore thriller about some fucking thief, but really it's just a shit video game film. I mean, you talk about Warcraft film. Yeah, Uwe Boll, I'd hire him. The Warcraft film, that is going to be one for a hot fix when that comes out.
It is. There's no way we could do it. You know what I would absolutely love to do, which I don't know how. I mean, it would be totally impossible. How would we even get the rights to these things? Have maybe like a 2-weekly show where we find terrible films that are based on like video games or like comics, like old comic book films or old video game films, like the old Street Fighter films, for instance. Do you remember the one with Van Damme in it? That was a gash film. But to sit and watch them and talk about them as they're going on, that would be a quality show, but it would also be absolutely impossible because how would you even get the rights?
But it would be as good as the fucking films, the same number of people.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, the same number of people who watch the film would watch the show, so nobody. That Van Damme film where he's got a kidney missing.
Oh, so bad.
Pound of Flesh.
Pound of Flesh.
Oh,
I can't believe I watched
Jesus.
that. It's such a waste of time.
I know, but you just get... Oh, man. You should go and watch it, right, guys? It's got the worst green screens ever. My green screen is better than their production green screen.
I've said to you as well, Amber, it's like some of the shots in there aren't even green screen, but the lighting is so fucked that it looks like they are. It's like they're in a club, and they're actually in the club. You can clearly see they're in the club from some angles, but other angles, even though they're moving around in the club, the lighting, I'm assuming they had it rigged for one shot and then didn't move it for a different shot because it looks like they're green screened in. And they walk towards a door and it's like, well, that door's clearly not real. And then they fucking walk through the door because it is real, because it's not even green screened. It just looks like it is. They've somehow developed a green tint around them and like really stark lighting on them.
Cabbage hair, yeah.
Yeah, without it even being like a special effect. They were in the room. Oh, God. Such a bad film. And at the end of it, he doesn't even waste the kid. I mean, 0 out of 10 would not watch again.
Yeah, he should have wasted the kid.
Absolutely terrible. I mean, you have to go and watch it to find out what kid we're talking about.
But we've just spoiled it, and then he just dies. It's shit.
Yeah, but you don't know who the kid is. You don't know who the kid is. You don't know who he is. It's fine. Because, you know, no one wants to have a pound of flesh fucking spoiled for them. They had a budget of like £8. They probably had to pay the kid £8.
No, it had a massive budget. Hang on. Jeez, I'm Googling this. Pound of flesh budget. It was crazy. $7.5 million it cost to make.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I say crazy. That's like, doesn't it cost like 500 million to make Avengers or something? But you know what I mean. At least that makes money.
All they did was give Van Damme the money. That's all it was.
I know.
Gave him all the money.
Imagine being Van Damme right now. Like, you've always been in shit films. I mean, you were in Bloodsport. That was a good film. You're in Kickboxer. That was a funny film. But everything else is shit, right? Fucking Time Cop. What?
Time Cop.
Universal Soldier. What? You know, it's like you're just a fucking joke of a action hero who does a roundhouse kick, don't he? And so every film you're in, you have to do this. Which, by the way, he does it in Pound of Flesh.
Yeah.
You must feel like you can't take yourself seriously as an actor. You know, like you've watched House of Cards. Yeah, you've watched House of Cards, right? You look at fucking Frank Underwood, and then you look at Van Damme. You know, you look at Claire, right? And you're like, okay, they're actors. And then you look at Van Damme. He's not an actor. It's like he's just a guy who's old as shit now, doesn't look very fit, and but I can imagine him taking himself seriously. Like, I'm an actor, and I will take this job. And it will be a great movie. Yes, my kidney gets removed.
Can I just say, I love this rant going on whilst Skype is reducing your face to like 8 pixels. It's so good.
It's also gone. It's like, no, the call is gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's died. I also love the fact that Skype, whilst showing an image that it looks like it was transmitted out of an electrical field, actually decides to say, there's a problem with the call. No shit, Skype. No shit. It doesn't look like that in real life. It doesn't look like he's been transmitted via like a video cam from 1972. Funnily enough, I could tell there was a problem with the call. Anyway, let's go on to...
Hey, my dad bought me a present a couple of weeks ago. And it was a video camera.
On camera.
I ain't got it. I told him he could keep it. It was a video camera.
Oh, it's
from 1970 something. And he was like, look at this, it's retro. And he said to me, you could probably make a video of this and it'll look great. And I was like, no, it looks shit. I Googled it, right? He didn't pay a lot of money for it, right? He fucking found it in some, I don't know, secondhand shop somewhere, I don't know. I Googled it. The cost of the tapes was fucking astronomical because this thing didn't have a tape. Obviously, it doesn't have an SD card, does it? Viewers, because it's a fucking something from the 70s. It looks great though, and it's the aspect ratio when you look through the viewfinder. It's like a little square. And I'm like, hey, I'll have to get it. He must have it. I'll get it and I'll show it you guys. It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. What kind of? That's the sort of presents I get. Fucking video recorder from the 70s.
That's quality. You could piss about with that.
No, because you'd have to pay like over 200 quid for the fucking cartridge with the tape.
Go around, if you know any really old people, go around and see if they've got a spare tape.
I don't even think batteries fit this thing anymore. Like some sort of battery size that everyone's forgot about.
You need to hand wind your own magnetic batteries or something. I know nothing about batteries. Is that even a thing? Hand wind batteries.
I don't think it is.
I don't think that's the thing. You can do that for pickups on guitars. I know that. I don't know how well they work, but you can do it. Anyway, but what do you... Skype, by the way, back to glorious HD quality, looking nice, and
I have no idea why Skype's been playing up as long as it has been.
I don't get it. I mean, to be honest, I do. There are other people that I contact on Skype, and I have the same issue with all of them.
Yeah,
and they have the same issue with all the people they speak to on Skype. Like, it fucking says something. I don't know whether it's something to do with like the general quality of the internet in this country. But my brother-in-law can Skype a friend of his in America, and it will work perfectly. If he Skypes me, then we have to restart the call at least twice every time, because the camera quality goes to such shit that it's like looking at just mud, and you can't tell any facial features whatsoever.
Sometimes it's better to look at mud.
It's just... I hate it. I hate Skype like nothing else. Well, not quite as much as I hate this. $1,200 Assassin's Creed movie ticket includes a crossbow.
Hey? What, like a real one?
$1,200, yep. Well, I don't know if it's real, but you can pay...
Oh, I see, yeah.
$1,200 for a ticket to see the Assassin's Creed movie, which isn't out for like 9 months, by the way. And get a limited edition replica Spanish crossbow with it.
I like this bit. The guy, famed Hollywood weapons master Tim Wildgoose.
Hang on a sec, I haven't got that far. The offer available in the US as part of what? The offer available in the US as part of deal between Assassin's Creed creator Ubisoft and website Kernel also comes with a digital copy of the film script, so they couldn't even print it out. So the Spanish crossbow itself from Ubi Workshop. This 15th century crossbow is an exact 1-to-1 scale replica of the weapon featured in the upcoming movie and used in a pivotal scene.
Ooh,
created by famed Hollywood weapons master Tim Wildgoose, the crossbow is 18 inches long and features scenes from medieval Spain, as well as motifs from Assassin's Creed lore.
Lovely.
I don't know why I've turned this into like some sort of sleazy QVC number at like 1 a.m. Handcrafted, numbered, and limited to an edition size of 20, this piece is a worthy centerpiece of any Assassin's Creed or movie prop collection. I really doubt that second one. Available exclusively on Kernel, this package also includes a ticket to see Assassin's Creed in theatres.
A ticket?
Thankfully. A digital copy of the script and behind-the-scenes extras.
Hey,
I really don't think that it's going to be a piece worthy of a movie prop collection.
Hang on, I've gone to this website. Crossbow. I've gone to this Kernel website, and for $15... you can get a movie ticket, a collector's watch, the script, and Aguilar and Maria temporary tattoos for $15.
Wow. Sounds like a deal.
What is with giving you the script to the film? It's a limited offer.
Maybe the acting and the accents are so shit you won't be able to understand what they're saying. So you're going to have the script so you can work out what the story is.
You can get the Hidden Blade for $60.
I'm not going to lie, I would quite like a Hidden Blade, because I like some of that franchise.
I mean, I don't know how... It's probably a piece of plastic. I don't know. Or you can get the Assassin's Creed hoodie for $120.
What? Why would you have a hoodie?
A statue of the guy for $600, okay, or the crossbow.
Let me just do a quick Google. Assassin's Creed hoodie. So
I'm sure I've seen these before, yeah.
If I go to the Ubisoft store, and I will put it on the screen for you here now, it would appear that there are multiple hoodies that are official Assassin's Creed hoodies.
This is a black one.
So why the fuck would I spend $120 on a movie ticket with a hoodie when I could just go to the Assassin's Creed shop and buy an actual hoodie for $60. Why would you do that?
Maybe unless this is a superior hoodie.
A dribbling nutcase. You can also buy the coats from the games. What? You can buy Arno's coat from Unity. Why would you do that? Unless you're cosplaying as the guy, in which case I suppose I could let you off. But for everyday casual wear, your fucking Revolutionary France jacket is not going to be... it's not going to look great, is it? Christ. And I've lost the tab now. Okay, so yeah, $120 gets you a ticket, an official hoodie, or $60 for a hidden blade, 25 tickets for a $1 t-shirt, or $15 for a ticket collector's watch, which presumably is worth nothing. $15 for a collector's watch, and it includes the price of the film ticket. In this country, $15 wouldn't get you a ticket.
No, because it's like fucking 12 quid to even get it.
Yeah. So how much is this?
Yeah, hey, I had this debate with some people about the price of Domino's pizza, and they didn't believe me, right? They were like, pizza's nothing, right? $10. I'm like, what? Domino's, 18 quid for one pizza. That's like $30 or something. Like, what? It's
pizza
so
over here is massively expensive compared to the US. It's ridiculous. On the other hand, you can go to the chippy, spend a $5 and have so much food you can't finish it. So
my chippy always gives me too much food. It's a double-edged sword, that is, because I'm like, can I have a bag of chips, please? And they give me like 3 scoops of the chip, but it's like massive. And I'm like, oh man. And I look at it and I start eating it. I want to eat it all, but I know it's going to wreck me. But I just keep eating it.
I do the
and
same
then
thing.
It comes up, like I've got this problem where if there's food on a plate, I got to eat all the food. And I don't know what problem this is, but I can't leave it. It just drives me wild.
I suffer a similar problem, but with the Indian takeaway I found a while ago whilst Kat was in hospital. Because I was like, I want an Indian. But I don't know of any places around here. So I did a quick Google. What's Indian places in Stafford? And I got it through Just Eat. And the guy was like, oh, next time, if you go direct to our site, it's a bit cheaper. And, we can give you discount codes and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cheers. The next time I ordered from the site, I ordered one of the same things that I ordered last time. But they just gave me what I ordered last time and all the starters for free for ordering off the site. Like, I paid about 8 quid. But the order was probably worth about 16. And I was sat there and I was like, I can't eat all this. And an hour later, I'd eaten it all. And I was like sitting there going, I'm going to die. Oh, no, I can't handle it. I ate it anyway, don't care. And I've been back to that place like 4 times since. I need to stop it. Every time they give me something free, though, it's like,
because they're getting you addicted.
Feed
they're like
me more.
Coke dealers. It's like, yes, take this. You're like,
Terrible. So yeah, basically $1,200 gets you an Assassin's Creed crossbow. It's a stupid thing that Ubisoft are doing because they like doing stupid shit like this. If anyone buys it, I'll be amazed, because just because you like the games, there's no guarantee that the film's going to be any good, even if it has got a Fassbender in it. Because it's not automatically, Fassbender does not a good film make, and the Assassin's Creed stories are a bit off. They're all right. They're not the best. They're not the worst. But I don't know how well that's going to translate into
for a game that has got that fucking plot mechanic of you just traveling through time, through genetics, and that game could have just gone totally mental.
It starts out so
but it's
funky.
Just like,
but now it's like we must go into the past and no further than going into the past, and oh god, don't go anywhere near Asia for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what they've got. They seem to have a problem with creating anyone that isn't basically just European. Well, I suppose no. I suppose they did go to Istanbul, but no.
Did they?
Yeah, Istanbul.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's Istanbul I went
to. Isn't Istanbul where 4 continents meet or something ridiculous?
Yeah, that's true.
There's some sort of thing in there with Istanbul. Might not be 4 continents, but
Istanbul's
Russia,
Constantinople
Europe,
now, isn't it? No,
it was Constantinople.
Yeah, so you went to Constantinople.
Yeah.
Which technically is...
But it would have done for the Crusades, because the game's set in the Crusades, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I hope I've got that right. I'm pretty sure I have.
I invaded Constantinople on Europa Universalis 4, and it was part of some massive alliance, and then I died, I think. Or no, I was. I was the Turkish Empire, but it was called the Ottomans, that's it. And was it the Ottomans? Something like that.
Yeah.
I had Constantinople.
Yeah, it was the Ottomans.
Because the first thing I had to do was get Constantinople back, and then I attacked somebody, and they were part of the Holy Roman Empire, which is like the superpower. And then the Austro-Hungarian, and the Germans, everybody attacked me.
Yeah, then they weren't big fans of letting stuff slide, were they? The Holy Roman Empire.
No,
isn't it the Ottoman Empire that was still around, like when the Soviet, the Soviet bloc was going? I'm sure the Ottoman Empire lasted
they were
way longer
in World
than
War One, weren't they?
Yeah, I think maybe it was World War One. Because I'm sure, I think it was the Ottoman Empire where they lasted way beyond what you'd think. Like, you think kind of...
Yeah, 1923. It was World War One. They got wrecked. Yeah. Well, I mean, it started in 1299 and got wrecked in 1923. So it went for quite long.
Mad.
It was World War One that wrecked them because I'm sure they got involved in World War One and they couldn't handle it and then they got wrecked. And then they had like reforms and whatever. I'm not down with Ottoman history, but something like that happened.
It's just crazy to me they lasted that long. It's mental. You don't like Ottoman Empire. I'm thinking of them in the same time frame as like the Holy Roman Empire and all that, and it's like that. They lasted way beyond any of them. How do we get onto that? What?
Crossbow, Gears of War. No,
that was it. Yeah,
Gears of War. That's the next tab I've just looked at.
Well, I tell you what, we're down to the smaller stories, so we'll blast through them. Actually, there is one. This is weird. I don't understand the point of this at all. Like why it's even a thing. Hitman to release on disc in 2017.
Can you explain to me how Hitman is releasing? Because I get confused because it's just all this episodic thing, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's not it's a full game, but it's being released in chunks. So you get like prologue thing and like the first chapter, and then there's another chapter a bit later on. Kind of like what Valve were going to do with Half-Life, except they're actually going to do it and presumably finish it at some point, which obviously Valve never got round to. What was I going to... Yeah, no. Explain to me. I'm clearly missing something. I am but a lowly chap on the internet. Why would you delay releasing the disc edition of Hitman until 2017?
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is that they're doing it because
so
then they will have
it's all complete,
the complete version on it. Yeah. But surely, by that point, no one's going to care. Like a year later, Hitman's in the news now. Hitman's being reviewed now. People are talking about Hitman now. The adverts are now. Why?
But this
I know there's always like a definitive edition, like however many years after the fact. But it seems crazy to me that they would say, oh yeah, there'll be a disc in a year's time, because no one's going to give a shit by then. Like, no one's going to care. And
I still don't understand why this is releasing like it is, though. I mean, they're going to just... It's almost like, right, we've made the Italian missions, just release them. And then we're going to make the other missions and then release them. Then we're going to make the other missions and then release them. So, I don't understand. Like, surely... I know it's cheap.
Here we go. There's an episodic structure explained on Eurogamer, which is linked out of that article, which is handy. So, okay.
Oh, I see. Here, yeah. Okay, so, I'm going to go there. All right.
The new Hitman game is out today, sort of, as you've no doubt heard. IO Interactive decided to split Hitman up into episodic chunks rather than release it all at once. A move that has proved divisive. Well, yeah, it would do. So, Hitman will be spread among 7 episodes, each set in a different city, released on a monthly basis, starting with the premiere chapter today. IO Interactive's latest can be purchased digitally in 3 different ways. So, you can purchase the full experience, which has even got caps.
It's almost like early access. So this
F&E. So there you go.
It's like early access
experience. I also burped down the mic. I apologise.
Dirty
for $49.99 or $60.
Okay.
You can also buy the intro pack for $11.99 or $15. Then snag the upgrade pack for £36.99 or $50, offering access to the following episodes upon release. Total comes to $48.98 or $65. What? Wait, have they got that right? Yeah, no, they have. They have. So if you purchase the intro pack and then upgrade, it's more expensive than just buying them all at once.
You know what this is? This is like a kind of plan to get people to buy a demo for the game. And then say, you can buy the rest of the game cheaper. It feels like they're
selling the first, like the demo.
But they're not made. The issue I've got with this is these other things are clearly not made and they're still developing them. And so it's like you're buying a AAA early access game. I think this is bullshit. I don't like the way this confuses the shit out of me when I've seen it. I was like, episodic? What?
Yeah.
It's like Telltale games. But at least with Telltale games, you just pay once and then you just get them when they release.
Yeah.
Because I remember like the Wolf Among Us and all those games and whatever. So it's kind of similar to that system, but at least you paid. Well, you could obviously pay here full price and then just get them all. Telltale games are much cheaper though, so you're not paying $60 for a Telltale game, are you?
I don't like the look of that at all. It does seem like exactly what you said. Basically forcing people to buy the demo unless they want to part for the full game. Just release a demo. Just do that. I mean, I know that's kind of fallen out of fashion a bit, but still. And making it so that all of it, if you buy them all separately, you end up paying way more. I don't like that either.
No, because that forces you to buy the pack before you know what's coming out.
Yeah.
See, because the thing we've got here is if maybe the first missions are the best missions in the game. Like, that seems weird, like they would be. But imagine they were. So you think you buy the intro pack.
Fucking Conan, Age of Conan. The first 20 levels were amazing. There's no content for the rest of the goddamn game.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But I mean, if you buy this game and then you're like, well, okay, this is great. Then you think to yourself, right, what do I do? Do I go for the upgrade pack or do I just wait for the next episode? You'd be tempted to go for the upgrade pack. And then you'd be like, maybe you don't like the next episode. And you think, oh shit, I should have just bought the other. I don't like this. This is like, where are we going now? Are we going like, here's the game, the single player campaign, the multiplayer campaign, the customization, the graphics options. You have to pay for each individual bit. I should just get one bit. But then again, the other week, I quite like the idea that multiplayer for Call of Duty was its own thing that you could buy.
Yeah, but that's
it different
though, isn't it? Because that's a multiplayer experience. You're not getting like the first half an hour of the campaign and then being told,
true,
you're getting the complete project.
Yeah, you're getting the complete.
Yeah, you're getting because the COD's multiplayer is its own, its own separate thing. This is I don't like this method of doing things at all. Yeah, no, not a fan. Bullshit, Hitman.
I don't like it.
That sets.
I mean, I had the beta for this game and I didn't fucking play it. What does that tell you? I forgot. I was like, oh, I've probably got a key for the game. Oh, I don't know. I might have a look at it.
I've seen footage of it and it looked okay.
Yeah,
didn't look anything particularly exciting. Yeah, but I mean, Hitman I've never been that bothered about anyway. But that release schedule episodic thing can fuck off. That's not.
See, Hitman can be a really, really good game if it gives you a lot of options to assassinate people in crazy ways and you can get really creative with it. If it doesn't and it's just like really obvious how to kill people, then it becomes boring.
I did see someone throw a wrench from like 2 feet away full on into a guard's face, which was pretty funny. That was like the only thing that struck me as being quite a funny thing to do. But it was just like the guard was walking towards him. He's obviously in a disguise because he's Hitman or Agent 47 or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, but his disguise is totally shit. He's like,
and he's like dressed as a chef or something, and he's just got a wrench in his hand, and the guard is walking straight towards him, and he just turns around and just goes, "Wow!" and just smacks him right in the face. And it's like, that's brilliant. The thing is, once you've done that a couple of times, you're not going to find that quite as funny. But yeah, it's that franchise just passed me by anyway. But no episodic releases. Don't like it. Just release the whole thing, and that does explain why there isn't a disc until 2017. But I would put money on the fact that at 2017, no one's going to give a shit about it, because either they will have watched it, or they'll have already played it, or they're not going to do a second marketing push, are they? Yeah, they're not going to spend a load more money on a second push for this game. They're just going to
honestly,
here's a disc.
The only people who are going to buy Hitman in this fucking format, people who are addicted to Hitman. But people, I mean, you as a consumer, there is like Hitman. It's not well, it might have some stupid multiplayer mode. I don't know, but it's just a single player experience. These are games where you can just easily wait for the discounted versions to come out, because they will always guaranteed come out. To me, like, I mean, my situation's a bit skewed, because if I was wanting to make videos on this for YouTube, then I'd buy the game, and that would be my defense. But just as like a normal guy or person looking to just who even if you were into Hitman, you're at a disadvantage if you buy Hitman now, because it's going to be cheaper down the line.
Yep.
Like, there's no rush, and also we know that the content and you would be in a better situation with Hitman, because down the line you'll know what the actual extra content is, because all the episodes will be revealed.
That's true. So you'll know if
you'll know the full game that you could buy instead of just knowing the start and nothing else.
Yeah. It's a weird strategy. I don't know whether it will work for them. Be interesting to find out, to be honest. Especially since quite a few people don't like it anyway, including their own community, which is understandable because it's weird. It's weird. It's confusing, and it's yeah. So we also have Chivalry devs have released a trailer for Arcane Warfare, which is I don't really know what to think of this, to be honest. Chivalry was pretty damn fun. I really enjoy Chivalry. It was very satisfying, you know, chopping bits off people. And they've kind of turned their attentions towards, well, wizards and crazy spell castings and stuff. Whether it's going to be quite as good, I don't know. I have to admit, the trailer seemed a little bit underwhelming. I think partially as well because it's a lot brighter and it's a lot sort of more cartoony than Chivalry. And I quite liked the style of Chivalry. And yeah, people's heads are falling off and stuff, but it's, I don't know, it's a very unfamiliar style. It feels like, for the type of game that they've made it into.
I think to me,
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like Dark Messiah from Might and Magic, because that's all that was. It was just like a wizard-based like FPS game where you just kill each other. This, when I look at this, it looks it's a bit. It looks shit. It looks cheap. When I looked at Chivalry. Okay, it was a bit silly, but Chivalry looks better. It's hard for me to explain. Yeah. This looks cheap, and it looks like a skin on Chivalry, and it's like, hey, wizards, and even the combat they show looks not very good. It looks really clunky. I mean, you remember Deadliest Warrior?
Yeah.
Which was a time for the show, wasn't it? Deadliest Warrior.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to make of that, because that was just a... Is it fair to me to say that it was a cash-in on the Chivalry thing? Because they could just make a quick couple of reskins to a couple of, you know, oh, here's a ninja, here's a pirate. You know, it was never as good as Chivalry, was it? Chivalry was just a better game. It was like... It
just didn't... I mean, for a start, it just didn't feel in any way as polished.
No, and this straight away looks like that. You know, it looks a bit...
Yeah. And also, I have to say, in the trailer, yeah, there's guys firing off big spiky balls of bullshit, but... At the same time, there's also multiple kills where it's just a dude with a sword chopping a guy's head off. I can only do that in Chivalry, and Chivalry looks better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the incentive? Kind of looks like Magicka and Chivalry had a bit of a romance behind the bike sheds, but I'm not entirely sure that the kids come out looking okay. It looks a bit off. I don't know. I don't. I was kind of thinking the next thing they make, I'd be like, oh, this could be good. But then it's that, and I don't feel like that.
I feel like they should just make Chivalry 2 and put like other shit in it.
I want more weapons. I want like massive fantasy weapons.
What would be amazing if you had two like forts against each other, and you could like you can man the catapults and shit in Chivalry, but like a massive war. Or everything just boils down to a massive. But then again,
guys on each side.
We haven't got this as a thing, but a topic. The Banner Lord, which is Mount and Blade 2. There was footage of that from GDC, I think it was, or something that happened the other week. No, it wasn't GDC. It was PC Gamer Weekend, and it was like that'll give you a big fight.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is the
multiplayer Mount and Blade was fucking funny.
This game, though, this Arcane Warfare thing, it's just a. I don't care. I don't think I'll play this. They'll probably give me a key, but yeah. It just seems like a cheap attempt to just recycle it again. Because even when you look at the spell effects in this trailer, they look really bad. Like really cheap. They've spent an hour on them. Yeah.
They look MMO old. That's the only way to describe it. They look like something that you'd see like a Fire Mage in WoW produce about 3 years ago. Some of the stuff. It's like it's just a bit low res, a bit underwhelming. All right, well, the other stuff we've got. Total War Warhammer has been delayed. It's now out in May, so from April 28th to May 24th. Once again, extra development time, no point complaining. Hopefully it means that the game will be in a better state than a lot of the Creative Assembly games.
It's really funny to me though, because Overwatch launched on the 25th of May. I was like, 24th even. Oh. It's exactly the same day. I was like, oh, fuck off.
That's brave. I'm not going to lie. I think that's brave.
Not really. I think they're different audiences. But like you said, these, I tweeted about this. And Total War tweeted back to me their Twitter. It favorited what I tweeted. And it was something like, the last thing you want is another dodgy release, some sort of comment like that. Because obviously we all know Rome 2. My God, that was a hammer blow.
It was bad for them.
That was a really Warhammer blow. That was this.
Warhammer blow.
This is their most complicated thing they've made to date, and all the stuff of this looks really good from what I've seen. I know they've got the Chaos pre-order shit, but beyond that, it looks really fucking solid. And if they launch this and it was a disaster show, I don't know how they recover from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they launch it and it's great and it's solid and it works, everybody will be all over this, because it's a fantasy battle game and there's nothing really like this. Yeah. And this appeals straight away to way more people than just history buffs, because I don't want to hate on people who like Total War, but you need to enjoy that type of history. Me, I don't. I enjoy Romans, everybody knows about Romans, but I don't know Roman history. I'm not, I've watched Gladiator, Rome's, it seemed good. That would have been my way in, but the game was crap, so I didn't want to play. World War II is what I like. I don't like Napoleon era stuff. I don't like, Attila the Hun or whatever, or medieval history and all of that, where it seems to me you have to have a very specific knowledge of that, especially when it comes down to names of units and all of that. I know it's very detailed, the units have got their accurate names and exactly what they do. So Mr. Kirioth might be a history buff and knows everything about medieval warfare, so he knows that a certain Celtic tribe or something uses a certain type of horse guy and he's called the whatever, but I don't know that. Whereas this, it's purely fantasy. It's way more accessible. Big goat guy with a massive hammer is probably going to fucking smash some shit up, or big dragon is going to wreck stuff, or massive spider. So it's more accessible. And also it's got other things like spellcasters and shit and heroes on the battlefield, which I know you had your generals in older Total War games.
If you see a weird goblin dude wearing black robes and carrying a glowing staff, it's odds on the guy's going to be casting some spells. And if you see a cart with a huge amount of metal draped over it and a cannon sticking out the front, it's obviously some shit form of a tank that is
steam tank. It's very the Empire's steam tank.
Yeah. It's very self-explanatory. It's you can just look at it and go, I know what that is, because it's half generic fantasy and half.
I don't know. Hang on. I think our points are sort of relevant, but it can also be ripped apart by the other side, because you can say, well, a guy on a horse with a spear, you can kind of guess what he's going to do. Like a guy with a spear, you kind of know he's going to stab the horse, probably. I don't know. But
I think it comes down to familiarity as well, doesn't it? Yeah, if you're more familiar with kind of fantasy-sized stuff, it's that's obvious. It's just really clear.
Which is an interesting thing. Why do fantasy games, especially MMOs, seem to do better?
Same thing.
No, better than sci-fi MMOs, or... Hey, look at not the perfect world, the Secret World. That's set in real time.
Yeah.
I know that was a different type of crazy MMO with mental quests. Seems like fantasy just seems more accessible because it's more outlandish. I don't know. But this will be their biggest launch of any game ever. I'm pretty sure it will be, because you can just see by the traction it gets on YouTube and whatever when they put videos out. Some of their stuff is a bit questionable what they do with PR. I know they'd sent me emails before and asked me if I wanted to get down to their studio and watch them play the game. I'm like, you joking me? I'm like, no. What?
I'll play it.
Yeah, but no. Well, you could play a set battle or something, but it's just that's controlled and it's not well. That means that we just want you to look at this and just this. Whereas I've never been like that. If they sent me the game and said, here we go, it's only limited to this one mission, I'd play it, because I can play it at home and see what happens. Not sit there for 40 minutes in a timed play session. No. I mean, we had this with XCOM 2, where they were like, oh yeah, 2K were like, come down and play the game for an hour or so. I'm like, what? No, I want the game,
Give. As you say, the other thing that's coming out May 24th is Overwatch, which, I mean, if you need to know what our opinions on Overwatch are, then you have been paying attention to the channel since the first beta started. It's going to be absolutely quality.
I sent to the Blizzard guys. I was like, I bet you're having a fun day because it's been leaked. And they were like, well, actually, it was announced. It was only announced like 2 hours before it should have been announced. So it wasn't a massive. It wasn't like they didn't know what was going on. It was like, oh shit. It's like they were getting ready to announce this shit, and then IGN put an advert up before they should have done.
IGN, people need to stop telling IGN stuff. It's always fucking IGN. It's either IGN or like Amazon France or something that stick up a pre-order date for an Xbox, or say this game's going to be available at this time. It's always one of them. They need to get their shit together.
It's going to be weird. It'll be weird when this game actually launches, though. I mean, what's happening with this game is if you pre-order it on the 3rd of May, you can play the early access closed beta, and I've taken to calling it beta now, until the 9th of May, I think. And then it goes offline. Then the game launches the 24th. Yeah. Or you can play the open beta from the 5th to the 9th. I think it's from the 5th to the 9th.
Yes.
And then the game launches on the 24th. It's weird. This will be weird for me because I've been playing the game for like a number of months now. 5 months,
so
maybe.
They have to turn it off again. I don't want them to turn it off again. I'm enjoying playing it.
They're going to turn off the closed phase before this happens, I believe. And then we go from there. But really, the game, even if the game launched right now, it would be solid.
Yeah,
it's just
it would.
Like the underlying systems, like they don't have a ranked system in yet. The game does have a ranked system in, but it's invisible. So you're not playing in ranked games. You're just playing in unranked, basically. But it puts you with people who've got the same MMR as you, so the internal ranking.
Yeah.
So like, I always see the same people most of the time because there's only a limited number of people who've got access, and they probably see me when they play, because it's just like a unranked game with a rank per se, but not really a rank. So that needs to come in. But they did say they're not sure if that's going to make it for launch. It might not, which would be a bit annoying if it doesn't. But these things need to be built. Yeah. But the game itself, beyond anything like server architecture and dealing with the load of players that come in and all of that stuff, would be totally playable right now. There's not anything in the game that I see which is just broke, which is flat out, this is broke. There has been. When the beta came back, Bastion was way too good, and they fixed it. Yeah. Everybody played Bastion because you could just rinse everybody with him. But now he's been changed, so he's more in line with everybody else, So you got to make a choice, not just like what they don't want is for you to just go, right, I'm going to play this character because he's effective in every situation. You have to look at the enemy team. What you do is you pick your team. Your team picks its characters. You go into for the first battle. You then learn what the enemy team is composed of. If you die, you then change your hero to counter what they've got. That's basically what you do with Overwatch. But what they don't want is you just go, Bastion. Or everybody else will just kill everybody because you don't care.
Which in a way I really like, another way I don't like because I like Junkrat so much, but then it's like, oh, Junkrat is not appropriate. I must leave you, Junkrat. But stay there. I'll be back next game. I promise. I promise. You turn into Junkrat when you're playing for too much. It's quality. You end up laughing like him, like a maniac. And then you get massive high score, and it's immense. Anyway, Gears of War 4 possibly coming to PC, which is really... I do understand why they've done that.
I asked Microsoft for Gears of War 3 Ultimate Edition, or whatever it was called, key, because it was on... We spoke about this the other week, didn't we? Because it was on the Windows Store, because it's a Windows Universal app or some shit. They emailed back and said, we don't have any keys available.
Lies.
I was like, right, if you're infinitely reproducible keys, you don't. Anyway, bye. But it wasn't really on my radar too much. Like, I would have had a look at it if they sent me a key, but from what I see, the performance is a bit iffy, and it's got annoying shit. Like, I think it's pretty hard to record because it wants you to use that fucking Game Center shit, and it's got other issues with it. But it's playable. It's weird because there's only that and Tomb Raider on the store. So Gears of War 4, do you know what I think would do damage if they put a Halo on that store? That's what they should do.
Yeah.
Because then people would be like, oh, let's play Halo.
Yeah.
Not Gears of War. Gears of War was good for the time, but like I don't give a shit about Gears of War 4.
It doesn't even have
like Marcuson and the other guys, does it?
Marcus Phoenix
and Coltrane.
Coltrane was the
best. Coltrane, baby, or whatever he does, and he fucking like runs through the wall.
Funny enough, top comment on this article. I just want Halo Master Chief Collection and all
exactly.
Halo releases. I don't care about any other Xbox exclusive titles. It's not the only one. I think that's how most people feel. It's like Gears of War. All right, where's Halo? Why is Halo not on it? It could be.
Somebody commented, "What's this one about?" I thought after Coltrane disappeared, nothing of value was there to be told now. So he must have gone. I don't know. I played Gears of War and Gears of War 2. I didn't play Gears of War 3. Is Gears of War 2... One of them's got a horrific mission where you're on like a massive train thing moving and it's dead hard.
Yeah.
That might be 2.
That's Gears of War
2? Yeah. And it's like crushingly difficult.
I seem to remember there's also some other horror... Is that... Maybe I'm thinking of the same mission, but it's like a giant worm-esque thing that you need to shoot in the gob.
It might be that way.
Platforms.
It keeps bouncing up, or something, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Because it isn't the story in Gears of War that I don't even remember what they're called, but the bad guy, alien lot. Locust, that's it, innit? They're in the ground, aren't they?
Yeah.
And like you have to live above ground, but they just burst out the ground and you sort of have to go into the hive or some shit and massacre them.
It was Gears of War who did that really sort of crazy advert as well, wasn't it? That had
Mad World.
Was it Mad World playing? And then like a bunch of other games tried it, but it didn't work at all.
Wasn't that Christmas #1?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Prototype tried it as well. That one where you're a guy who's been infected with some crazy virus and you can grow stuff out of you.
Oh, yeah,
It's quite a fun game. But they tried it with Johnny Cash and Hurt, but it just made no sense at all because it was like, to see if I could still feel pain. Then he jumps off a building and punches a tank. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? Gears of War is, okay, that guy's clearly on the verge of death.
A familiar face. Yeah, and the big thing's eyes light up behind him. He's he's just firing his gun off. It's like,
because that was like, you just knew that was bad for him. Like, you knew that was going to end up real bad.
I want to play that
Prototype,
game.
It was, dude just punched a tank. I don't give a shit what he's feeling. What are you talking about?
Gears of War was... I remember playing it on 360 and that was quality. I played it co-op and it was... I remember the graphics were pretty good for it at the time. It was just a cover-based shooter, right? Third person. But it was... I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. I thought it was pretty good, Gears of War. Especially when you got like the chainsaw thing on the end of your thing. That was stick it into it.
Best part of that game. I'll tell you what, we've got one more thing. Sticking with Blood and Guts as the theme. And it is the Doom official multiplayer trailer, which I can't give you sound for, but you can see it, and I shall play it for you right now. It looks quality. It looks
does.
Really good.
It's a shame that he's clearly using a controller to aim, which just disgusts me in an FPS game. But this just looks totally over the top. I mean, like, it just when it's like the racing around, they turn into the demon, like the demon room. The only thing that's crap on this trailer is the announcer's voice. I don't know what the hell that's about. But it, like when they get quad damage, everybody knows quad damage from Quake. It's like quad damage. It's like you're like yeah. This is like quad damage. Quad damage. You have the rune. You have the demon rune. Ammo acquired. Double kill. Or something like that.
Bland,
it sounds really shit, yeah. You guys go and find the trailer and listen to it. It's like, what the hell? And actually, they changed the voice, because the voice was different in the previous trailers. It was more like a fucked up computer talking to you. It sounded a bit better.
Yeah.
It didn't sound that much better. It's not as good as quad damage or whatever going on in your head, because that would just be amazing, you know, like running around with that shit. I don't know why they don't just bring the Unreal announcer back. Is it showed the bit yet where he gets the I don't know what they're called. They're not Barons. The fat guy, and he like grabs his puts it to his head and he like blows him away. He's just stupid. It's like, I mean, these are probably scripted like things which happen, but it just looks fucking stupid when it's happening. Like,
I love the way he kills the first demon though, where he
just jumps on it.
Just jumps in the air and then punches him in the face and just murders him.
And then he becomes a demon though. He's like, oh. But that's
but he's all fast and jumping about.
This is what you want though in like fun multiplayer modes, because there's too many like serious like, you know, Counter-Strike whatever games going on and Rainbow Six and God knows what, just running around all crazy and like some sort of murder fest with shitloads of blood everywhere and turn into a demon and then just like slamming people, and that makes
literally
it good.
Punching people's heads off.
That's
exactly what I want. That's exactly what I want.
I'm looking forward to this now. Like Doom for a while, it was like looked a bit shit. Then it looked all right from what they showed at E3. It looked a bit slow. That trailer makes it look a bit fast again. Doom should just be a fast killing hordes of enemies in massively brutal ways game. But all they got to do is you look at Doom 2, or Doom, and you look at those games, and then you look at like Brutal Doom, what that mod does to that game, just makes it more extreme. And really, with obviously the graphics engine looks pretty good they've got with Doom. Now, just giving you that, like seriously, just updating the graphics is all they really need to do. Not like Doom 3, which was let's try and make it a horror game, which is a fine game in its own right, but it's not a Doom game. Doom. See, this is what got me when Doom 3 came out. People were like, "This is not Doom. What the hell?" But I played it, and I knew what Doom was. I played Doom, but I thought, "Shit, this is a good game," and I liked it. But now, after I've played, I look back and I realise I understand why people were, I was younger at the time, but I understand why people like me right now would be like, "The fuck? This is not even the same game." If you release like StarCraft 3, but it was a fucking FPS or something, you'd be like,
yeah.
Well, no, that's not really a good example because it didn't change genres. But any game that is what you like, Borderlands,
it's tower defense instead of a full RTS.
No, you release Borderlands 4 or whatever the hell that game's on now. I don't know, 3, 4, God knows. You release a Borderlands game, but it's actually a shooter based in the real world now, and it's not cel shaded anymore, and it's about well. Kind of was about dialogue a little bit, but it was, I don't know, it just basically wasn't the game. It would be like Deus Ex. Deus Ex comes out and it's a fucking massive killer game like Serious Sam. It's not like how it should be. It's that kind of disconnect, and I can understand why people were a bit pissed, but this Doom looks like they've just gone, fuck it, give it a good graphics engine and just put loads of killing in, and that's what people want. And it will get them press.
That's all Doom should be.
Well, the press will pick up on this, the old media, and be like, "Oh, this is too fucking violent."
Don't care. Get to rip a demon's head off, then kick it another demon or something.
Just makes little Billy want it more. Yeah, it's the bit where I think they're called cacodemons with the big eye, and he just like runs in and rips its fucking eye out, the big ball, the big red ball. It's like, what the hell? Just like chucks it away. Like, totally mental.
Because you could. It was Serious Sam where you could rip the eye out of one of those, but you could then throw it at something else, couldn't you? It didn't do any damage. I seem to remember, but it was like almost like a nod to it, where it's like grab it and just throw it for no reason.
I think that was. I think Duke Nukem
first
did
encounter?
That. I think Duke Nukem did something like that. Duke Nukem 3D pulled the eye out of a thing and kicked it, or threw it, or did something on the last mission.
Yeah,
something involving an American football field. I forget what happened, but I think they're making a new Serious Sam actually.
I don't.
Serious Sam 3 was a bit shit.
About that.
Was
I don't know why.
Because it tried to be too like, serious.
Yeah, Serious Sam. Like when we played through Serious Sam First Encounter HD, didn't we? When that came out,
it's still playable now. Because I mean, just that
did that in like a day, and that was dead fun.
Hordes of enemies,
loads of them. Serious Sam 3 was like, here's 5 guys. Oh, you've killed them. Run around this city for 10 minutes until you find another 5 guys. I don't want that Serious Sam. I want massive like.
Well, it did
when you're getting charged endlessly by those crazy bull demon things, and you could shotgun them in the face and kill them if you sidestep.
Well, everyone remembers the last mission on Serious Sam, and where you're at the pyramids of Giza and the big alien ship comes and you have to like kill everything.
Yeah.
But just before that, you get locked into like an area and there's like monsters that just constantly spawn down each side, and it's like a total murder fest. It was, I'm looking forward to a new Serious Sam game if it is like the older games. Like I'm looking forward to this Doom if it is fast, which it appears to be. But I'd like to see footage from a PC and not a fucking controller, which pisses me off because it's Doom. It's a PC FPS game. It's what it is. It's not a fucking console game. Okay, you could play it on some of the consoles. I mean, I played it on my SNES when I was a kid. That was the first time I played Doom.
God. It's easy to forget how old it is. I know it's an old game, but it's like it's the fact it's still relevant, I think, is what kind of makes it easy to forget how old this stuff is.
I mean, Doom changed the industry though, didn't it? Doom was like totally changed things, man. It did, really did.
I want the new one.
I mean, you had Wolfenstein 3D, which was revolutionary, but then you had Doom, and the step up from Wolf to Doom is so crazy. I mean, like in Wolf, you had it's just simple things you take for granted now. Like in Doom, you had things like 3D levels that were not boxes, because they could now make angular walls and things like that. And you had like height, and you had like like things that sound stupid, but like they were not a thing. They were literally invented like at the time. Well, or applied in a certain way. I think there's a video actually. Some guy breaks down Doom on YouTube. It might be an interesting watch for people. But yeah, Doom, be interesting to see it.
Yep, definitely. That is it for today's hotfix. It's technically a day late. Gonna try and go back to recording these before Thursday so they can come out on Thursday. Just you know what the situation is. Things have just been tricky last few weeks, but back into it again, and we will be back again next week. And I'm just trying to think. There's nothing coming out between now and then, is there? I've now got just games that I want to play in my head, but I don't think any of them are any time soon.
I'm absolutely terrible at remembering what games are coming out. It's like, oh, and something just comes out. I'm like, whoa,
shit. Yeah. All I know is I'm going to go away and play Battlefield Gothic Armada for half an hour before I go to bed, because I caught part of your stream and it looked fucking quality.
And there is a video on the channel right now when you're watching this, so if you don't have the game, go and watch that. Because on that, actually, I do I've got to stop the enemy from running my blockade. It's quite good. Which was different than just straight up murder missions.
Yeah.
It's quite good. And there seems to be different types of... But yeah, whatever. The ramble is real.
It's also... What time is it? Oh, dear God. 5 to midnight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And then again, probably about 8 o'clock in the morning. Sleep is precious.
I'm surprised she's been quiet all this time.
She has actually. She's actually pretty good. When she goes to sleep, she's out of it for a good sort of 3-4 hours usually. So it's not too bad. I've no doubt it'll get worse at some point. But for the moment, it's all right.
Yeah, but anyway, premature babies are supposed to cry more often. But I mean, I was expecting her to cry during this, but she's not. It's pretty good.
Oh, the thing is, she is premature, but she also is like 9 weeks old now. But she just hasn't been at home. She's been at the hospital all this time, so we've I think we might have maybe skipped the worst of it, because she was really bad the first month, so it could have been world ending, but we weren't there, so it wasn't a problem. What a dirty way to get around things. No, if you discount all the stress and all that stuff. Anyway, we'll be back again next week.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo.